Welcome to Palace News, an update on the Zaha saga. We're going to be talking about his contract situation and also a Leeds player that's been linked with Palace as a potential replacement to Wilf. We'll be mentioning him and discussing whether he'll be the right fit. And also, Gambian Wonder Kid. We mentioned him a few months ago, but it seems like it's not going away, these rumors. As always, if you do enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And let's get started with Palace News. What's going on, people? I'm joined by T here for the latest Palace News episode. As I said, if you do enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and leave down your comments in the comment section down below if you're watching a replay. And if you're watching live, leave down your comments in the live comments box down below. Get involved with all these rumors, all the latest Palace news, and let's go through it. Another day, another dollar. That's what they say over in America. But over here, we say another dollar. No, we say another day, another pound, or shillings, or depending on how you say it. Yeah. How you doing, T?
I'm good, man. I'm doing good. Chat, what up, man? We're looking forward to talking with y'all today, man.
Yeah, man. You held it down the other day by yourself. That was good. Graham Potter. You spoke about Graham Potter, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you had a howler. You had a howler. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I just remember right now.
Little bit.
Yeah. So what was that about? Well, you was missing me.
Yeah, it's that auto mute feature. Just auto mute.
Oh, so you talk to yourself.
Yeah.
That episode the best of us. Don't worry. I'll talk to myself as well at times. It is.
I told him I learned from the best.
Yeah, you have. What's going on, Colin? What's going on, Louis, as well? Summerville with Eze and Elise just screams ball FC. That's what Louis is saying. We're going to talk about Summerville. Don't worry about that. But let's start off with the first bit of news today. And this is coming from Sky Sports about Wilf's situation. So it was a tweet from one of the journalists over in Sky, and he said the following. He said, Wilfried Zaha is to assess all options before deciding on one of the biggest decisions in his career. Those are his words. Palace contract offer still on the table. No surprise there. Clubs from Serie A, Fenerbahce, and Al Ittihad from Saudi Arabia keen. Love and respect for Palace, primary reason why he will take his time. And that's coming from Sky Sports. Look, the first two things about, him assessing his situation, Palace contract offer still on the table, that's not a surprise, right? We know that. Mm-hmm. We're not going to withdraw his contract offer because the season has ended. But what makes it interesting is he's assessing his options, and according to Sky, there's clubs from Serie A. So who are those clubs, potentially? Mm-hmm. Fenerbahce from Turkey. I think if he was to leave, I'll be very happy if he joined Fenerbahce, because that's literally my homegrown team from day one over in Turkey, so I'll be spoiled.
Hey, I get a Zaha. I get a Zaha Fenerbahce kid. Yeah, I like that.
He would be adored there. But look, talking about some of these places, I mean, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Syria. Now, Turkey and Saudi Arabia, I just don't think he's at that stage of his career yet. I just don't think so. I still think he's got talent to play at the highest level. I think that would be a bit of a disappointment if he was to move there. But Syria, that makes a bit more sense, especially if they play in the Premier League. But let's first of all start with these clubs that are involved and him assessing the situation. What do you think about some of these clubs from literally all over the place? It seems like,
man, because I was thinking about the same thing. D, I was kind of like thinking like, okay, if he goes with Fenerbahce, like the level of play in that league would be considered a step down.
He'll score 25 goals there. Anything below 25 goals would be an absolute disappointment. And that would be incredible because Fenerbahce hasn't won the league in a long time. And the actual chairman there, the president, said that he wants to win the league next year. Like, we are going to win the league next year. So that would be a massive move by them if they were going to pull this through.
So one of the things that stands out to me that I was thinking about as I thought about it a little bit more is what is Wilf really looking for? Is he looking to play European football? Does Fenerbahce offer that? And so then we're talking about him getting paid, and would they be able to pay him what he's looking for?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure about that.
No, I'm not sure about that. They shouldn't be able to. They shouldn't be able to match the 200.
So then the last piece for me was how much he's going to play. So it's like going to a team like Fenerbahce, he's going to be contending for a league title in the Super League, and then he's going to be playing in Europe, and he's going to be starting. Like, I don't think nobody's going to play over him. So if there's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of line up for that to make sense. Saudi Arabia doesn't make as much sense to me because literally the only box that's checked there is money. In my opinion,
probably more money than Palace. Well, you'd assume so.
Oh yeah, but then like outside of that, that's the only thing that they offer is money. Like, I mean, the competition is not going to be there. He's not going to be playing European football. You know what I'm saying? So that's out of my mind. And then you're talking about the Serie A piece, and it's like,
I don't know what clubs.
Yeah, we don't know we don't know how much they're going to be paying for him, or they're going to be paying him, and we don't know how much he would be playing for those actual clubs, because if he's the AC Milans or the Inter Milans, he's going to have a lot of competition week in and week out to get on the pitch. So it's hard to tell, man. Like, I can see why this process is taking him some time, because he's got a lot of things to think about.
Yeah, and it really depends on what he wants to do. Look, Louis says, I feel like Wilf is more looking at his family and making sure they're okay and stable. If that's the case, then
stay where you are.
Well, is that the right move? If he's looking after his family and make sure they're stable or not, if he gets more money from Saudi Arabia, then surely you would move to the place that pays more money. And plus, as Daniel has mentioned in the live comment section, Saudi Arabia tax-free as well.
True, but I mean, here, if he stays with Crystal Palace, he's going to be making more money than he ever has, because we're giving him a raise, and he's not having to uproot his family. He's not having to worry about the back and forth of going from here to a place like Saudi Arabia, back and forth, whether he decides to move his family or he just moves himself and removes himself from his family unit. So there's that piece too, you know what I'm saying? Not just the amount of money that he's going to be making, but the family dynamic for him as well. So
yeah. Colin says Zaha main decision should be exactly that. How much game time will he have? No point moving to just sit on the bench and getting paid big bucks. That's not Zaha.
No,
yeah, 100%. He has to make sure he's playing. Yeah, he has to make sure he's playing. Well, look, in the final bit, I left it out because I wanted to talk about separately from the club that he's been linked with. This bit makes no sense to me. Maybe you can find the answers, and in the live conversation, you guys can let me know. Love and respect for Palace, primary reason why he will take his time. What does it mean by that? I mean, if you love and respect Palace, then don't you sign for Palace if it's that massively? Or is it just me that doesn't understand that segment of the tweet that was put out by the Sky Sports reporter?
Well, I think first and foremost, that snippet was kind of unnecessary and unneeded, because obviously he has love and respect for Palace. You know what I'm saying? Because, if we're thinking logically, he could have signed pre-contract in January and decided to be out and gone somewhere else months ago. So there is an air of consideration that he's having with Palace, for Palace, and a big part of that is, how much he cares about, the club and things. So I felt like that kind of, the comment was kind of like a duh, like, we know, like, he wouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? So
it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. When I saw that in the final section, is like the ending is love and respect for Palace, primary reason why he will take his time. It's like, well, I mean, what does that have to do with the contract offers? If he has, well, he has love. It's nothing to do with that. Do you get where I'm coming from? He has love. Like, he's just taking his time to weigh up his options. As simple as that. Like, it's not love and respect for Palace. This is why he's taking his time.
Colin makes a good comment there where he said he could still make the Saudi move in 5 years from now if he wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, if you know what I'm saying, that's not going anywhere.
Turkey move as well. Samuel Eto'o was there scoring goals.
Yeah, some of those moves,
like 27 years old.
Yeah, some of those moves will still be there for him in 2, 3, 4 years. Now, the amount of money he may get might change, but
bro, I'm telling you, he can still make decent amount of money.
I believe
still make decent amount of money. I'm telling you, the Turkish league. That's what annoys me about the Turkish league. As someone who's been, suffering from watching the Turkish league for ages, there is that overpayment segment. They love overplaying players that are past their prime. That's why even Falcao went to Galatasaray. He hardly played, made a massive paycheck.
Yep.
Why do you think these players go to Turkey? Not because they want to enjoy themselves at Turkey. They could also go MLS. We've seen that route. But Turkey just seems like they pay more. They pay more to all these players down the line. So after this 4 years, when Wilfried's like 34, 35, I think he'll still find a place in Turkey or in Saudi Arabia. So I'm he'll get a decent amount of money there. So for me right now, he needs to make the best option for his career in terms of how much can he make right now, and not. I guess you worry. It's not my thing to say for him to not worry about his future, but I think in his future, as long as if he stays fit, he's always going to get them options. He shouldn't get them options from Saudi Arabia and also over in Turkey. But for now, Palace, £200,000 a week, I think that makes the most sense for money aspect. But then again, does he really want to play European football for Fenerbahce? Like, is Fenerbahce really going to push forward in Europe? He'll be playing European football for the sake of it. Maybe he still wants to. But then again, realistically, I don't see them being a genuine contenders over in Europe. It's simple as that. And
you have him, Enter Valencia, my man Michi Batshuayi.
Right, Samuel. Remember was linked with Batshuayi, Michi as well.
They got the young kid that's really good too. Guler.
Yeah. He's a wonder kid in Turkey. He's a wonder kid in Turkey.
They got some good players on that team, man. Ferdy Kalik.
Ferdi Cardiolo,
Yeah, they got some talented players on that team, man.
Yeah. But still, I just don't think it would be the right move for him to make right now. I'll be honest. I
wouldn't put it above Palace, but you know what I'm saying.
Do you think it's a case of he's waiting for big values? Do you agree with Daniel here?
I don't think so. The reason why I say that is because if you're waiting on a big team to come in, that means you're not a priority to them, which means you're probably not going to play a whole lot with them.
But you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know. It depends.
This is the same Wolf that we're talking about that gets visibly upset when he gets taken off the pitch in a match. Like that's who we're talking about. So for him to go somewhere where he's not going to play, I mean, he even showed it when he was young, when he was at Manchester United, and he wasn't playing at Manchester United. He was visibly not happy, and they loaned him out, and he ended up back with us because he wasn't playing. So I don't think that changes. I don't think that changes for him now. Yeah. It's probably even worse now.
Henry says, if it's between us and Turkey, he might as well stay because he's not going to win anything big there. When do you see Turkish team compete strong in the Champions League? Mid-table Premier League is as good as winning Turkish League. I've said it. I debate this with my cousins back home, and they get pissed off. Some of these Turkish teams that you're saying that are doing well over in Turkey, if they were in the Premier League, they'll probably finish where we are, below us. But the opportunity that you get there is European football. So if you really
at the same time, at the same time, winning a championship in a domestic league like that, like let's not forget.
He'll be. I'm telling you.
Let's not forget. Let's not forget the fanfare in Turkey is real.
Bro.
Like that would be.
I've been to games.
You want to talk about just winning? You want to talk about winning silverware, having that experience of winning the championship, and competing. Like I'm sure he would highly value winning the Super League with.
He'll be absolutely loved. He'll be absolutely. So I'm talking as like I'm putting my Fenerbahce kit on.
Exactly.
Right now. Yeah. He'll be absolutely. So I know how it is. If he wins the league over in Turkey with Fenerbahce, he will be absolutely adored because of how long it's been since they won the league and the fact that Galatasaray has been winning the league a lot recently. And next season is like a big moment once again. There's also there's a dilemma in Turkey right now because as you win the league title, you get stars on your badge. But the Turkish Federation actually removed. They made a rule saying it's when clubs started playing professionally. Well, Fenerbahce was formed before Galatasaray was formed before all these professional stuff started. And they're like, we should have the league titles. But Fenerbahce basically saying until we win another league, we're removing all of our stars as a protest. So if he goes there and wins the league, that will automatically put 5 stars into Fenerbahce. Like he'll be absolute legend, and I can see him scoring 20-25 goals. But again, is that what he wants? Is that what he wants? Nick says, how many years has Zaha got left in him?
At what level?
In terms of the top level? At what level? Is his big contract.
Yeah, I'd say 2 to 3 years, big time football, 3 years.
Yeah, I agree. Colin says maybe I'm optimistic, but I think he would have a great chance of winning the cup with Palace in the next couple of years. Oh, trust me, we all love that, but is that realistic? Is that really realistic? You see, with
If
the
we
FA
if
Cup,
we
like normally
if
it's the
we
big
don't
teams that win that.
if we don't move a lot of our talented players, I think we seriously have a chance. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
it all depends on if we can hold on to guys and bring players in to strengthen in our areas of weakness.
yeah. I think, look, personally, I still think he's going to stay at Palace. Like, I'm not saying 100%, but I'm leaning towards him staying at Palace. I said it yesterday. I think 60-40 for me, anyways, of him staying at Palace because of it dragging on. And you've seen some of the teams mentioned there. And the fact that he hasn't signed a new contract yet with another team, if he was going to leave, he might have left now. I do think at the end of it, look, this is how I see it. If you wanted to join another side and there was a contract offer that was good enough for him to move, then I think he would have moved already. But it seems like he might be waiting to see other deals. And right now, it seems very unlikely. If you really want to move to Turkey, that would have happened. If you really want to move to Saudi, that could happen. But it seems like these options right now ain't really that great. So just waiting another week or two. And by then, I don't think there'll be any other massive offers. I'll be surprised for Wilf. I think he'll sign. I think he'll sign another contract extension with Palace. I'm leaning more towards him staying. I'll be honest. What about you, T?
I mean, I'm really. I've had my times where I've really been leaning more towards him staying. I mean, I think I've been more towards that frame of mind. Most recently, the only time that it wavered a little bit was when they released that first video with the mural, and I was kind of like, this could go either way. This could go either way.
Yeah, it was a weird timing, isn't it? It was like a week before the season ends, and then you put a mural out there, and then after the game against Forest, he doesn't speak, he doesn't mention anything. It's like, what's going on? But and honestly, I don't think Zaha's made up his decision yet.
He hasn't gotten any farewell stuff at all comparatively to a Luka or a MacArthur. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been nothing like that. There's like those guys had contracts that were up too, just like Wolf. And club came out and said, hey, they're not returning. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know.
If it was Wolf and they knew, they would have 100% built up like massively. No one knows it. Lastly, on the Wolf situation, then we move on. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to leave a like, people. Let's get the likes up as much as we can. Cody's saying, obviously waiting on for what's happening with us. Also, I guess the next manager, new signings, etc. Could that be the case? Lerma coming through the door early could help that sign, but I just
somewhat, but at the same time, like his contract will expire in the midst of the transfer window. So
yeah, so we might make some massive signings down the line. It's like it's hard. Yeah,
we'd be under the gun to say, hey, we got to make these moves really early to show Wilf so we can keep him. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of pressure in that type of situation. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you're watching a replay with the Zaha contract situation, what are you leaning towards? Do you think Wilf is going to stay? Is he going to enjoy his sunny South London? It's been nice. I've been enjoying it. I'll be honest. I've been enjoying it the past week or so. It's been good vibes only down here. With no Palace losing or drawing and relegation talk, it's good. We could talk about the future. We could talk about moments that can change the future of this club. By the way, T, did you see it? Palace will rank very highly in terms of
almost $1 billion. It's almost like I think $800 million valuation.
Yeah, only like two. What was it? I think Inter Milan was 1 billion, so we're not too far off Inter Milan in terms of valuation. We're talking about a club that's historically massive, and that's the Premier League. That's the Premier League for you.
Maybe that's why nobody wants to buy us right now, because we're a little bit too expensive right now.
and also going off tangent a bit, talking about expensive. Also, this ain't Palace, but John Texter, you see what's happening over in Molenbeek as well.
Yeah. Apparently, they had. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess people can read into it differently when you read the press releases and stuff. The way that I read it, it sounds like he's trying to make changes for the better over there because of the fact that their scouting department and the people in charge weren't doing the things that they were expected to do. He did.
Certain transfers. He is about bullying, about there's a lot of big claims there. And apparently the fans have said that they won't let games continue until the old, chairman comes into play. So he seemed like John Texas took over Molenbeek fully, which means that he probably doesn't have enough time for Palace. My whole how on earth do you run a football? How do you run 4 or 5 football clubs?
But he doesn't run Palace though. Like that's the thing. He doesn't run Palace. He's just a financial investor.
Yeah, I know, but how much money have you got? How much money have you got? That's a big question. But it seems like he's going to be running Molenbeek anyways. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Let's move on to the second bit of story today, and this is about a relegated side. And potentially a player from that side joining Palace. We talked about a few that we would like at Palace, and according to the Athletic, Leeds United relegation to the Championship has opened up many possibilities of players leaving, which is no surprise there, of course, with Summerville said to be of interest to both Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. T, I saw that you posted a tweet about Summerville comp, and you seem like a massive fan of this. He's played, he hasn't started that many games. He's made a lot of sub appearances for Leeds. He's still fairly young as well in terms of age, 21 years old. He's played an FA Cup, League Cup as well, 3 appearances there down the left-hand side. So I think this is links well to the Wilf rumors that we just spoke about. His strengths are he gets fouled often. Wilf, similar there. Likes to dribble, Wilf. And funny enough, if you look at Football Reference and if you put all the stats together and look at players that are most relatable to him based on these stats, Wilf ranks in terms of comparisons 4th on that list. So he's very similar to Wilf's stats over the last year or so. What do you make of this report? Well, Leeds will get rid of some of these players, and he seems like one of many that we've been linked with over the past week or so.
Just being honest, I hadn't followed him a whole lot prior to recently, but I remember when I had seen him when he made appearances against us. He's dynamic as far as he's extremely pacey. He's good with the ball at his feet. He can pick out a pass pretty nicely. Watching more of him, he gives me Raheem Sterling vibes. Just the way he moves. He's a little bit smaller too, slighter frame. But I think he's a strong addition just as far as whether it be really integrating into that start 11. He's had some starts for Leeds, or just adding depth on the wing, because as we talked about in the past, having somebody on that left hand side behind Wilf hasn't really been a thing recently. So
sorry, I'm laughing because of our WhatsApp chat. Patrick said something about Lerma.
Something about Lerma.
Yeah, he talked about Lerma about Lerma. I didn't mention it, but there's reports about Lerma's entourage going to Turkey, being invited for the Fenerbahce Galatasaray match, and Patrick said if he stands
it's time to disband the club.
It's time to disband the club for Lerma if he stands for Turkish side over Palace. But yeah, let's not get carried away about Lerma's situation, but that just made me laugh, caught me off guard.
I think the thing about Summerville though is what is he going to cost? What are they wanting for him? My thoughts, like when it comes to like between him and Yanto, I think Yanto will probably be more expensive. Of a buy, and he's much more hyped. I think that's part of it. So I would hope if you could get him for in that 10 to 15 range, or maybe a loan with a buy option. I don't think that would be a bad look at all.
Yeah, you know what? When we talked about Hudson-Odoi yesterday, and when we're talking about Summerville today, I think it's interesting to look at the wages as well. So Summerville's reported wages only £15,000 a week, compared to Hudson-Odoi of £120,000 a week. So if we're looking at a budget, if you're looking at a player that fits profile, for Palace a bit more, I think Summerville probably edges it for me than Hudson-Odoi based on the finances. I think Hudson-Odoi probably has. Would you agree with me saying Hudson-Odoi probably has a higher ceiling than Summerville? Summerville is 1 year younger than Hudson-Odoi.
Yes.
But yeah, I think Summerville makes sense based on Leeds getting relegated, based on his wages, based on the transfer fee that they'll probably require. I think he beats Palace more. But more importantly, one of the things that we've said about the right back position, it seems like we're doing it with the left winger position, or for Will's replacement. There's been a few left wingers that's been linked with the club, and that's a positive step, because it seems like we're getting ready to go through a shortlist if Will does leave, to go through each player. It seems like we got our targets all set and sorted.
Yeah, because it's one of those things that one of these reports got to have some validity to them. So if you're being linked with a multitude of guys in a position we know that we need to be looking into, it's just a good sign that we're doing our due diligence and we're looking at players. So
Yeah. Look, Louis and Colin said £50 million each for him. Twisted saying Palace going to better spend. What do you think about that?
I think it depends, man. I mean, we don't know. We don't know what the budget looks like. We don't know what the spending budget looks like. We don't know if we don't know what the board looks like of saying which position has the utmost priority right now. You know what I'm saying? Does what we spend for our left winger and how much we spend on our left winger coincide with how much we can then put out for our striker? You know what I'm saying?
We shouldn't have these situations, but we do. I don't know why. I think all of us naturally just think our budget is a bit tight. But last season we were one of the lowest, if not the lowest spenders in the whole Premier League in terms of net spend.
True.
And you'd think that this season would spend a bit more.
I guess it just depends on we don't, like I said, we don't know how long the cycle is of how when we hit a big spend window. Is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? You know what I'm saying? We don't really know. Like, so I mean, I guess for me, operating out of modesty, it feels like the smarter move, just because then we have the opportunity to fill more spots rather than doing what we've done in the past with certain players and blowing our load. Excuse my French, but blowing our load on one really big signing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've done a good job of kind of staying away from that, not going the Sacco Benteke route, the 20s, the upper 20.
Yeah, you don't want to spend big for players that's older.
£1,000,000.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I'm saying?
you can spend big for players that are still younger. You don't have to spend massively on older players with high wages. I think we've gone past that stage anyways. But yeah, going a bit off topic, why do people say, just came into my head, why do people say, excuse my French? Like, why? I know why. I know the context, but why, excuse my French? Like, why French? Do you know where the term comes from? Well, let's know in the comment section, live comment section. What do you got? Where has the term come from? I just thought about it now. We always say it like, "Oh, excuse my French," but
somebody go on Chat GPT and ask the AI why they say
why not? Yeah, why not Italian? Why not? I don't know. Why not? Excuse my Turkish. I find it interesting. Anyways, it just came to my head to say, "Excuse my French." But yeah, we'll see what happens with. We'll see what happens
French
with
origins.
Yeah. Well, you got French origins.
No, the phrase was originally used in England when someone used a French word when speaking to someone who may not have had a social standing to understand French. Due to the vast history of conflict between the French and the English, pardon my French, soon became a dig at the French.
Okay, so we just offended all of France by that. I hope you're happy to. Okay.
I'm sorry. I had no idea. Don't cancel me.
Views. Yeah, it just teased views. It doesn't represent back in the
Don't cancel me. These are things I've said that
again, do not cancelled on Palace News, where we're talking about Summerville. He's not even French. That's the ironic thing. We're talking about a non-French player and we're getting cancelled. Cancelled. Twister says we'd rather spend £40 million on a somebody or £20 million for a nobody. But I think what we want to do is spend £20 million on a nobody and make them a somebody, because that has worked. Gehi has become
the last nobody we spent 20 million. The last nobody we spent 20 million on went by the name of Czech Decore, and he became our player of the year. Yeah. So I'll go with the $20 million nobody, because more than likely that player is running under the radar and may end up being worth much more later on down the road.
Yeah, exactly, because that's what we're trying to do, right? And
Michael Lise was an $8 million nobody.
Exactly. Well, you can say Gehi. He wasn't a nobody, but he wasn't as big as he is now. So
he wasn't a consistent Premier League first team player.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
So I think that's our strategy. I don't think we'll spend big. If we had the money, we would. But our goal is to make sure these players develop, and then we have these assets where we can sell them on. That's what.
Hindsight is 2020. I think it's kind of like, what do you consider to be a nobody? You know what I'm saying? Because that term can be kind of subjective.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Let's move on to the final bit of story today. And this is about a player that we've actually spoke about in the past, and it's a wonder kid. We're talking about wonder kid, so we're talking about nobody right now. Potentially to turn into somebody. Teenage wonder kid Adama Bojang is monitored by Chelsea and Crystal Palace, and it's also wanted by 2 other Premier League clubs, including Wolves and an unnamed club. The 19-year-old striker is attracting interest from across the globe with his performances for the Gambia at the Under-20 World Cup in Argentina, and that's according to the Evening Standard. T, we've spoken about him before. But the question is, when did we speak about him? That's a very good question. I think it was like a month or 2 ago. It's 100% this year that we spoke about him.
I think it was like, yeah. Oh no, we definitely did, because he didn't come onto the scene until he had those really early goals at the beginning of the Youth World Cup, which he's literally playing right now against Uruguay.
How's it? How's it
performing? I haven't seen much from it, but they are playing a man down because they had a red card in the first.
He's 6'3" as well, as Colin has said. He's 6'3". No, unless you watch under 20s, no one can say they know this guy. I'm not.
Yeah, he plays over
in Gambia. He plays over
Gambia. Stephen Biko FC.
Yeah, it sounds like a DJ. Like no one can say they watch this guy play. But I left it to last because it seemed like we're still monitoring him. And right now, as that game is going on, I'm pretty sure there's a few scouts there watching him play as it stands. But look, there isn't much to look at from domestic level because domestically, with all due respect, he's playing at a very, very low level. But it seems like his player profile, 6'3", is and his potential is what we're really after.
He's done pretty well on the national level as of late. I think that's when he really got on people's radars because he did really well in, I think, was it the Youth African Cup of Nations, and then now he's playing really well.
Yeah, I think he started from there.
Yeah, I think that's really kicked off for him.
Yeah, he started from there. But if anyone knows anything about him, let us know. So Colin says doing fantastic in Under-20 World Cup. That's more of why he's getting recognized. So funny enough, Palace were after him before this World Cup. He was definitely on the radar because I remember talking about him on one of these Palace news episodes. It's not the first time. So I don't know. It seemed like we're still watching him, but then again, you got Chelsea, Palace, Wolves. Yeah, and also if he was to sign, I don't think he's going to be playing for us anytime soon. Like I reckon there's going to be a development period and bedding him.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, man. Like if there's one thing that we have right
18
now,
years old.
It's good young strikers in our academy. When you're talking about Ola Adebomi, Akinwale, Ume, we've got some really good young attacking talent. So I mean, we just brought in Franco Ume, so I don't know. I don't know if
so for the Under-20 Africa Cup, so basically this year, he in 6 appearances he scored 4 goals, we got 1 assist. And for the Under-20 World Cups, which are just going on right now, in 3 appearances, he scored 2 goals. So he's scoring them goals. He scored
1 goal in the first 45 seconds of the match. It's like, what?
Is it? Yeah, he's scoring them goals, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I know anything about him because to be fair, if that's on, I didn't know, but maybe that's what I got a few things to do, but maybe I could look into that, Under-20s World Cup. What time do they play? They play normally?
Well, here, my time, they started at 12:30, so that would have been 5:30 your time is when the match started.
Okay, yeah. So, they lose it. And there's a game in at 10 o'clock as well, Ecuador versus South Korea. Maybe it might be worth tuning into them games. Also, MLS as well. MLS is on.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I've been going to games.
For an MLS? Do you have an MLS?
Yeah, we have a team. We have a team in St. Louis now.
Oh, is it? How are they doing?
They're doing good. They're at the top of the Western Conference, man.
Is it?
Yeah, man. I'm a season ticket holder.
You're a season ticket holder?
Yeah, man. Been to almost every game, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, man. I didn't know
that. Shout out to St. Louis. Shout out to St. Louis City FC, man.
Damn.
Yeah. Guess. Do you know who our goalie is? Guess who our goalie is? Roman Berkey.
Roman Berkey.
Yeah, bro, from Borussia Dortmund, man.
Damn.
Our coach used to be a Bundesliga head coach, Bradley Cornell.
Damn, you're doing well. I might tune into it.
Man.
Sean says, so are we losing Zaha? No, we're not. We're gonna
Not yet. We don't know yet.
Well, yeah, exactly. Right now, we're not. I hope so, anyways, unless something drastically happened in these last 35 minutes or so. But there was an update regarding his situation. It seemed like he's still assessing his options, but the contract offer is still on the table for those who tuned in a bit later. It seems like clubs from Syria are. Turkey and Saudi Arabia are keen for him. So, yeah, we discussed that as well. So, if you're just joining us now, when we wrap this up, scroll through all the way to the start, and you can hear us talk about Zaha in a bit more detail. Now, Colin says, going by the players we'll link to, I'm guessing more so, but never know for sure. Yeah, and I assume he'll be cheap as well. But if you guys have any questions that you want us to answer, send them through now. If not, we're just going to wrap it up. It was a quieter day, T, than how it was yesterday and the day before. Yesterday was a Loma. The day before,
ups and downs.
With you, it was
let's give the Lerma update. Apparently, that we gotta give.
Yeah, I mean, I messaged you about this. I was like, well, we should mention it. It was another update about him being in the final stages where we spoke about yesterday.
If it's anything coming from Fabrizio,
he repeated the same thing like 12 hours later. Like, I don't get it. I genuinely don't understand what the update was. He said when I was on here yesterday on Palace News, he said that Lerma was entering his final stages.
We just want the here we go. Just give us the here we go.
Well, about Lerma, as I said, when Patrick sent the message on a WhatsApp chat, it seemed like his entourage is going Turkey. I'm not getting worried yet, but they're going Turkey because they've been invited for the Fenerbahce Galatasaray game. I don't know. It seemed like Galatasaray after him. But yeah, who is the striker we're getting? We're not getting anyone. We haven't said we're getting anyone, but a Gambian under 20 international who we've been linked with in the past, Adama Bojang. He's doing well right now for the under 20s World Cup as well. We're still monitoring them, and he hasn't gone away, and that's according to the Evening Standard that we just said right now. But yeah, Colin says, who do you think about? How do you feel? Who do you feel about our next manager? As seems our list has dwindled from start. No slot. Hutter seems Potter. Yeah, I think it's either Potter or Roy. I think that's what it really is. But I guess with Potter, we'll probably find out as time goes on. What do you think? Slot's not coming. Hutter, I don't know what's happening with that because nothing's been mentioned. Seems like it's Potter or Roy as it stands right now.
Yeah, I mean that's what it seems like it could be, man. I don't know. I don't think I'm overly. I just want us to.
You sound lost for words, bro.
Yeah, at this point, I just want us to decide, announce, and move forward with whoever we appoint at this point.
There's no rush yet.
No.
But the reason why I'm saying that is because I've seen comments as well. I've seen comments saying you want your new manager in early because you want to have a plan for the future. But I don't think a manager changes our transfer strategy. I don't think it really does because we still, as I said before, you don't change your strategy based on a manager. Maybe the manager can have a bit of influence, but if that was the case, then Palace would have to spend 50 to 100 million pounds every every time we get rid of a manager.
Yeah,
I don't think the manager fits our philosophy.
Yeah, I don't think the strategy is going to change. I still think we'll be looking for younger, talented, developing players. I think the managerial piece just changes, maybe stylistically. Some of the players that we're looking for, if we appoint a manager who prefers five at the back, we'll be probably looking at wing back types rather than fullback types. You know what I mean? Or depending on the manager, you might end up looking for strikers that play well with their back to the goal, or strikers that like to be more advanced and getting behind. So I think those are kind of some of the things that might make the difference with the manager. But I think the overall strategy of younger, developing, talented players, bringing them in, I think that will stay the same. It's like a foundation.
Yeah. Twister says Enrique is still available. Roy's available as well. If not Roy, Jose is available as well. Roy is available, but Jose is available as well. Jose Mourinho. Did you see what happened yesterday? Always English refs, man. What's up with English refs? Did you watch the game?
Yeah, I did not watch the game. I did not.
Okay, yeah.
But
Well,
apparently he's got the same.
he
He had
was
the
that
same
tunnel. I
issue.
would love Jose at Palace, but I would love a lot of managers. But that's
Yeah,
not going to seem like that won't happen. I don't. Why on earth would Jose come to Palace? Maybe you don't even know how the guy's feeling, but he
because he
loves
wants to prove
Palace.
he
So I
can
know
win
Jose
anywhere.
does. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Imagine he comes to Palace and wins this trophy. If a manager comes in,
He's the
wins a
greatest.
trophy,
He's the
yeah,
greatest.
are they?
He's the
Are they?
greatest.
Is it like a legend?
Jose Mourinho comes here and gets hardware. He's one of the greatest of all time. Like he's won
Not even
everywhere.
Jose. Let's say Potter comes in and he wins a trophy. He wins a trophy. Let's say he wins a trophy in one season and then he leaves the following season. Is he a legend? Because we don't win trophies. So like that's why I'm asking the question. Like, what's the
yes. So
criteria?
he's a legend. He's a legend for two reasons immediately in my mind. He's a legend because he came here and he got us hardware, something that we don't have or haven't really ever had. Let's be honest. And then the second thing is the fact that he won hardware with us that he didn't win with Brighton. So we automatically have something that we can hold over them that we won hardware with him and they didn't. So I think those are the two things that come to my mind. So I think if he did that in 1 year, yeah, he's got the cult hero status for sure. Legend status for sure.
The sun has definitely hit me. The fact that we're talking about imaginary situations. We're talking about if Jose joined, I want to try. First of all, would Jose ever join Palace? There's that. Like we're just talking about crazy scenarios, but yeah, that's where we're at with the summer window, man. But it's been a good start. It's been a good week so far. We could potentially be back tomorrow, depending on the situation. If there's any other updates tomorrow, but as always, if you're just joining us now, we're gonna wrap it up. But you can go watch back to some of the key elements we talked about. Wilf, what's happening with his situation? Summerville from Leeds, whether he'll be a good fit, and also the teenage wonder kid Adama Bojang, which mentioned him as well, who's currently playing as we speak for Gambia in the World Cup. But that's it from me and T. If you do enjoy the content, people, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Let's keep the channel growing as much as we can. There's more content coming through, so make sure to turn on the notification bell to not miss out on these future videos. As always, thank you to everyone who joined us live and watching on replay. And until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.